I'm going to try something today that I haven't tried before, at least not on a machine like this. And that is I'm going to try to take apart from one model and see if I can make it work on another. Now, I have one working unit and one non-working unit. I could very well end up with two non-working units with obsolete parts, but we can only succeed if we try things. So I'm going to try and make a better machine than what I've currently got. I don't know if you guys remember this beast or not, but if you don't, it's the VO5850. This is the 3/4 inch Sony deck that had the open head. Which one was it? I marked it. I think it was this one here that was bad. Anyway, this machine now is mine. The people that owned it, I sold them one of my playback only machines. So I thought this one might be something to tinker with. The head coil was open on one of the heads. I thought maybe if we remove the upper drum, I don't have the eccentricity micrometer to set it up, so it doesn't work anyway. So because of that, I figured I would pull the upper drum off this, and we can just have a peek at this and see why it's open. Is it the coil that's open on the head, or I don't know. We're going to take a look at it though, maybe take a look at it under the microscope and see how this one looks. So I'm going to unsolder the wires first of all, and then we're going to disassemble this head drum and take a look at it and see why the head coil is open. I did mark the one that was bad. It's this one here. Put a little X on there. So first things I need to do is I need to remove the this cover, I guess, first of all. Got to remove this whole bracket assembly, which has got the contacts on it for the flying erase heads, which we don't need to worry about because this machine is broken. At this stage of the game, this is a teardown. I have no intention of trying to transplant a head. It's just this one here. It's going to come out, this one and this one over here, I think. Just loosen this one off, and this one comes out. And that should lift this top piece off so that I can access the head drum itself. Unplug it. Okay, that top lifts off. These are the contacts for the flying erase head. I'm just going to unplug that cable, get it out of the way. We'll store that somewhere where it's going to definitely get broken. And next we'll remove the two screws that set the head drum in place. I will pull the microscope out and we will take a look at this and just see where it's bad. Is it because at this point all I know is it doesn't have a signal, and when I put the meter on it, the coil is open. So we're going to see why. And then just lift the head drum off. Just like that. There are the four heads on this one, which we will examine under the microscope and see why one of them is measuring open. This is the one that's measuring open. That one. Okay, let's get the camera running here. We'll record this. This is the bad head that is open, and I'm looking at the coil here. It might be right obvious if you look on the screen. Whoops. I don't know. If you look right, well, let's see if I can point it out, but right in around here. It looks like there's some glue that may have been gotten on the wire and opened it up. Even on this, on the edge there where the head, like the head is physically, it's not broken. Physically this head is fine, but it's got no continuity. And of course, looking at the solder over here looks fine. Don't see anything wrong there. And over to the other side over here, I don't see anything wrong over here. How's that one look? Looks okay down there. That wire where it's, or that pad where it's soldered on, looks okay. See cracks there. And then on this other side here, well, looks okay there, but let's just get the meter on it again. And confirm that it is indeed open, which I know it is because I just measured it in the unit itself, but we'll put the meter on it again. So this is the head here that is measuring open. As you can see, it's open. How about from there to there? That's good. What about from there to there? Oh, wait a minute. There to there is not good. Oh, crap. How about the head itself? Is it any good? Maybe I'm just not making a good solid connection. Okay, that's good. So it's the head. I've got continuity on that trace, but I got nothing between the head itself. If we can get a look at the top side, if I can just turn this over, we can see the top side here and see whether there's any breakage. It's going to be tough to see, but we'll try on the microscope. Okay, we're looking at the bad head. I mean, you can sort of see the protrusion there, but it almost looks like the wires are right at the edge here, doesn't it? Let's take a look at the other side. This is the other side, wherever the hell the head is. It's right there. So there's the good side. You can see that the head is slightly protruding. Right there. You can see that loop of wire right there. This other one actually looks like it's just got excessive wear on it. I mean, this thing's old. Let's take another look at it here. Here's the bad one. Like, I don't see it broken, but it certainly looks a little different. Almost looks like the edge is missing, doesn't it? That's loose. Oh, it's cracked. Take a look. Look at this head. Like right in the middle. Like right, where can I point it? I gotta find something to point with here that's small. Yeah, my meter probe will look like it's huge, but take a look right down here. Right down the black ferrite part of the head chip itself. Now that's the good side. Let's take a look at the bad side. And the bad side is this one here. And that looks like it's broken. Does it not look like there's a crack right in the middle of it there? Let's see if I can get the angle of the light. Or was it this one I was looking at? This is the erase head. It will obviously look different. You see how the differences of the erase head? You see the position of the coil on the erase head compared to the record play head? It just looked like there. Yeah, there it is. There's what I'm looking at right there. See if I can point it out. There's a crack. You see the crack right there on the black material? That's cracked. Besides the fact that it's open, the head itself, the chip itself is cracked. I wonder if I touch it, will it move? It's broken. The head chip itself is just broken. And that is why this one is shot. Now I do happen to have, I have a couple 3/4 inch machines. I don't really want to sacrifice the head from a working VO5800. I do have a VP2000 playback only machine. I don't know whether the head is going to be, it's obviously going to be the same diameter as this, but I don't know whether the head itself would actually fit. It might be worth looking into that. Hell, it's almost worth going to the storage locker and grabbing the machine and seeing whether I can swap a head from a playback only machine to this recorder player. Yes, it would lose the capability of flying a race because it's only a 2-head drum. I would certainly never try to swap the head chips because I don't have a microscope that's good enough for setting that up. I would never try that. But swap the entire drum, probably would never get the eccentricity correct though. That's the problem, is I don't have an eccentricity gauge. I could eyeball it. If I could get it to play back, I could eyeball it, see whether I could get it close. But anyway, there's the broken head. Wire is probably, this is probably the wire that snapped right here. I bet you that wire right in the middle here, right next to my thumb, I bet you where that wire goes through, that's broken. The wire broke right there. Betcha. Now the question is, how did that head break? Because it does not look like it's had any trauma. It does not look like anything has hit it, because you'd see that. But it fractured. So this is a head drum off of a VP2000 video player from the 70s. And say I had a VP1000 and I was given a VP2000. This one's got lots of miles on it. You can see all the wear on the drum on this one. This has got tons and tons of miles. I don't know what shape the heads are in. They are probably just about worn out. But if it can make this machine play, that would be a good thing. It's always better to have a more modern playback machine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to fit this head, ignoring the flying erase because it obviously doesn't have it. I'll try to fit this head on the other one. I'm just going to do a quick inspection first. We'll look at it under the microscope just to make sure that nothing appears to be broken. So this is the replacement head that I'm going to try. That side looks okay, that head there. Let's take a look at the other one on this side. It doesn't look like there's anything broken here. I mean, this machine was functional, it just didn't have a great picture. But it might have been something other than the heads that was causing it to have a bad picture. I never got around to looking at it. But we'll see if we can fit this head onto this other machine. I'm just going to clean up here, get the machine ready, and we'll try to attach this head and see if I can get it to play back an image, because that would be the ultimate if I could make this thing play back. I did make a note mentally, but I also have it recorded, so I know which way the head goes on. This is the side that had the bad head, because the red-yellow wires went to the flying erase head that had the red wires on the side that was bad. The white-blue wires was the side that was good. So the bad head was the yellow-red wires. So we'll get this new head drum, well, used head drum, and we'll fit it on. Hopefully it will fit on here without hitting anything. Just drop that down in there like that. And sit it on the drum. Okay, let's throw some screws in. Of course, I'll try playing back a tape before I get into any type of alignment. I just want to see if it'll do anything. You will note that the heads, these are the flying arrays. The other ones were lined up with the screws, just like these ones, so the alignment will be okay. It's not like they're in a different position. We just have to connect the wires up to the rotary transformer, which is these ones here, the one that goes down below, because these ones were for the flying erase head. So if I can just tack these down. Didn't wait long enough for the solder to solidify, so we'll just do that again. At this point, I don't know what to expect. I don't know whether it's going to play back. I don't know whether it's going to be a total mess. I don't know if it's going to be perfect. I have no idea what's going to happen here. Well, we're going to find out soon enough. As soon as I get that second wire on, I'm going to fire tape into this machine and see if we get anything on the screen at all. I guess the moment of truth. Let's load a tape and see if it plays. So I don't know what I'm expecting here. I'm not really expecting much. I'm expecting more than the bad head delivered. But is this thing going to play first shot? Probably not. And it doesn't. Let's see here. Tracking. Looks like a head is dirty is what it looks like. I wonder if I just give it a good old fingernail clean. Will that clean it? Holy smoke. Holy smoke, I got a picture. Holy crap. I got a picture on this bloody thing. Okay. Where's the sound? Where is the sound? Audio. I got a picture. Well, it's better than nothing. Last time I checked, it helps if you plug the audio output into the audio jacks. Plug your audio plugs on your monitor into the audio out. I had them on the audio in. But, well, that's the scratches on these tape. This tape. I'm speechless. I did not expect that it was going to go like that. Of course, the heads are clogging up on this thing. We'll just get in here and put the fingernail up here carefully against the head so I don't damage it, because well, gee, you know, it's oops. Oh, that didn't look good. That stopped when I hit the reverse search. Why is it stopping? Because this machine no longer has flying erase heads, I don't even need to bother connecting up that plug. You just tuck it out of the way. The fact that this machine plays, and it plays as well as it does without me doing any adjustments. I didn't have to do any eccentricity adjustment on here. I just plopped the head on and away it went. So did I get lucky or what? I must have got lucky on this one, because normally they tell you got to do eccentricity. Although again, I've never changed a head on a 3/4 inch, so what do I know about it? This is the first time I've taken one of these drums off. But I didn't have to do eccentricity, and it's I mean, the picture is fine. One thing that's not fine though is the sound is muffled. Maybe the audio heads are dirty. But like, that's cranked up all the way, and that sound is quite muffled. So maybe we'll clean the audio head. So let's just hit eject. Okay, why is it doing that? Not supposed to do that. Not supposed to do that. Maybe because there's lights falling into here and hitting a sensor or something. Something else it doesn't do is it doesn't rewind. Well, we'll check that out and see why. And the elevator is slow at lifting too. I think belts are probably worn out on this as well. You can see. I think that's probably the biggest thing, is the belts are worn out. Okay, that's probably why it's doing that. But in rewind it didn't seem to have much torque, so maybe I have to address the elephant in the room, which is the idler on here. We'll pull the elevator out and take a look at it. Now that I've kind of got this thing playing, where it actually has a picture, now, and it's mine. As I say, it came in for service, as we saw when I looked at it before, and determined that the head was bad on it, and the mechanism was gummed up. I lubricated it so that it didn't jam, but I had no picture, and had a bad head. So it's got a problem lifting the tape, and the rewind, which is on the right side, doesn't turn the tape. It doesn't have a lot of torque. So there's a belt that's slipping. You see there a belt on the bottom, because there's a belt drive, I think a belt drive motor that drives the take up and supply, and there's also the idler on the top here. I'll pull the elevator out. We'll take a look at the elevator first. The belt on the elevator, that is. So that's just this screw here. I think it's just this screw. I'll loosen this one off. Remove the 3 wires. Lift that out like that, and now this entire unit, unplug it of course, and now this entire unit will just lift straight out. So there's a belt on here which probably could use replacing. I might even have one sitting here. Let me see what I've got. And this is the idler tire down here that might be a little bit worn out. It has to turn this spool for rewind. The belt comes off easily, just like that. I have another little smaller belt here. It should fit. That'll probably do the job. Oh yeah. Yeah, this one doesn't slip nearly as much as the other one did. So we'll just crank that up. I'm going to mount the front loader again and just see whether that fixed the problem, at least with the front loader. And then we'll also see what happens with the rewind once I get this back in place here. It does just drop in. Alright, that's got that back in place. We'll just kind of reroute the wires here. It still does the let's load the tape even though there's no tape in it. What's going on with that? Again, it might be light shining in here. These have optical sensors, so it might be some light shining here that's causing that. Will it rewind? Ah, now it's rewinding. I just cleaned off the idler a bit. It's playing. That's good. Let's check out some of the special features, like if I hit pause, search button. Oh, reverse search. Looks like I clogged my head. Again, anything's possible with these old tapes. They're in such bad shape. It would not surprise me if searching forward search. Looks like the head clogged again. Again, old tapes, right? Old tapes. I'm going to clean that audio control head. See what's going on with that. I still got this problem with it when I unload it. It unloads the tape and then it does like the half thread. Like I have to hit the power button to shut it off. Observe, when I hit the eject button, it'll unload the tape. I remove the tape. And it does that. I have to shut the power off. Maybe a switch isn't working properly, but if I shut off, if I turn it on and then push the tape in, the tape is fine. It loads fine. It does everything it's supposed to. It's just when it ejects, it goes into like the half loaded position, like it would. Now if I eject the tape and then turn the power off, it's fine. Turn the power on, put a tape in, away it goes. Hit eject. If I let it sit, it goes to the half load like there's a tape in it, but there's not. If I turn the power off and turn it back on, it will probably unload, or maybe not. I have to hit the eject button. And then it loads. If I hit eject, as soon as the tape comes out, hit the power off, it doesn't do it. So maybe there's a switch that's acting up, or one of these optical sensors is not working as it should. I don't know if I need to worry about that too much. Again, this was a donation, a freebie. So now I've got this machine that will play back. Whether it'll record or not, I'm assuming it probably will, because I think these heads are probably record play heads. It's just a two-head head drum. But these heads work a lot better on here than they did on the VP2000. The VP2000 had terrible playback. So I guess it's got an electronic problem on it. It's an old top loader that was given to me years ago. So maybe that one is time to scrap it, because I'm going to leave the head obviously in this machine here. It's a little more useful as this particular machine, because first of all it's a recorder, but it's a heck of a lot newer. All the other components are a lot newer than the old VP2000. And the VP2000 I was given, it has a history. It was used as an automatic repeat playback machine. There was a movie theater in Vancouver called the Capitol 6. They had 6 theaters. And they had a tower out front, like a clock tower out front of the box office, and they had monitors on this square box office. It had 6 monitors on it, right? 3 stacked and 3 in a row and 3 below. When you walk down Granville Street, where the Capitol 6 was, when I was growing up, that was the movie theater. That was the movie theater you went to. They had 6 screens. They were the first one around that had 6 screens. And they used to have trailers playing for the movies on this advertising, this marquee out front with the 6 screens. Bunch of Sony Trinitrons outside. They used 6 of these VP2000s, and they got the trailers from the studios, and they would just put them on, and they would automatically repeat. As soon as the trailer was over, it would rewind and replay. And this machine that I've got came from that. When they took that display away, they sold all the machines off, and the guy that I know, he ended up with one of them to use for dubbing tapes for playback, and he gave it to me. He said, you know, you can have this. He said, it doesn't really work that well, but you can have it. So I've had it for years. I don't know if I ever showed it to you guys or not. Oh well, it's kind of late now because it's missing a head drum, but it was going to be a project to work on. It never got worked on. Now the head has been robbed from it to fix this one. Anyway, I'm going to clean the audio head on here and see whether I can improve the sound quality, because it's pretty muffled, indicating that the head itself is probably dirty as hell. So the easiest way, I think, to access the head on this for a deep cleaning is to pull the side panel off. I think it's accessible from the side. Well, that's the audio head right there. see it. It looks like it's got some crud on it, doesn't it? So I can focus the camera a little better. I think I'm at the extreme here. I'll just back up a bit. Yeah, it looks like it's covered in crud, doesn't it? You can see it. It's on the bottom edge. Control track's on the top. Audio's on the bottom. So we'll try to clean that off. See if that'll bring the sound up a bit. So let's get in here and just see if we can clean this off. Awkward position, isn't it? Especially when I'm trying to show you guys what I'm doing. Doesn't look like much came off that head, you know. If I can get my fingernail in there, see if I can scrape it. It just looks like there's something on it. Yeah, I can feel something on the head. Or is the head worn? Also do the video head while I'm at it. Now remember, these are 3/4 inch machines. You turn them clockwise, not counterclockwise. I would say that that was relatively dirty. We'll try some more. See if we can get some more crap off of here. Keep this in mind. These 3/4 inch tapes are all very, very old. Some of them could be more than 50 years old, as the format came out in 1971. And all it takes is one pass, and you can end up with this or more left behind on the head drum. Yeah, they're pretty bad. When I worked at the cable station back in the early 80s, we had to clean the machines between every tape. And they were new tapes back then, and they still shed a lot of oxide. I'm gonna blow the dust out of here with my air compressor. Bye-bye, dust. Yeah, we'll test it again. Working like $1,000,000. The sound is still a little bit on the low side. It should be louder than that. I know it was recorded at 0 dB. Look at that. I'm just putting my hand in there and pushing the tape up against the audio head more. Watch. So that tape is still not making good contact with the head. We'll try cleaning that some more. I don't know if you guys remember my old Panasonic NV9200, but it was the same. The head itself was just so filthy. The sound was all muffled, and I had to actually scrape it with my fingernail to get the crap out of the head gap itself. I don't know what it was that was in there, but man, oh man, was it ever clogged up. And no amount of cleaning with cleaning fluid and a Q-tip would do anything. I cleaned it and cleaned it and cleaned it, and it was still bad. I've been scraping, literally using this piece of circuit board stock to try to get whatever the hell's on this head off. It's solid. It doesn't come clean. I'm scraping it with the edge of this. It's not actually on the head itself. It's on the body of the head, and what it's doing is it's holding the tape away from the actual head itself, the head gap. It's like a coating that's on here, and it is like it will just not come off. It's just ridiculous. I tell you, it's really, 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 really sticky stuff, and I'm having to work at it to scrape it. I don't want to damage the head, so I'm just trying to get this out of here. We'll see whether this thing made this any louder. Remember how muffled it was before? Any better? I would say that it is better. It's still not proper, but it's a lot better than it was. So I'm just going to continue to work on this a bit more and see whether I can get this thing just a little bit louder than it was. Alright, try it again. A lot better, let's see. Not quite perfect, but if I press on it, it still gets a little bit louder. But I'm a lot better than I was before. It's almost acceptable. Actually, that probably is acceptable because the frequency response sounds like it's there. I'm just going to try a little bit more brute force to remove what remains on here. It's hard to explain. It's very, very tough. Like, it doesn't clean, and you can feel this buildup. Just, it's right where the head gap protrudes from the body. So I think it must be the potting compound that they used when they put this thing together, 40 odd years ago. It must be the potting compound that's just breaking down, and it's oozing out of the head itself. Because that Panasonic one I had was just like it, and I had to scrape like crazy to get and then I finally got it to work, because this tape that we're watching was recorded on the Panasonic. But I'm just going to work at this for a few more minutes, and hopefully I can improve it a little more. It's always good to have a second 3/4 inch machine kicking around. I think I'm going to have to get a new chair. This thing seems like something just broke on it. I just dropped down about another inch. That's for the flying erase heads, which just doesn't have anymore. That's sounding actually not too bad. You can probably live with it like that. Yep, it's time for a new chair. It's dead, Jim. I guess I'll have to go spend another $100 on a new one. This one's not even a year old. Piece of junk. Hey, that's not doing it anymore. Excellent. I wonder if it was just light that was shining into it, hitting one of the sensors, but it's not doing it anymore. Excellent. Okay. Well, I'm even happier now. I think I'm going to have to call this one a success. What do you guys think? I think this is a success. Now, the question remains, should I put that... Yeah, what the hell. Even though it's not... It doesn't have the heads... It doesn't have the flying erase heads. Who knows? Maybe I'll find one someday. Maybe I'll find a drum that's got flying erase heads on there and I can pop it on there. Not that it really matters, but... Might as well just put this thing back on just for the hell of it. Because, well, I've got it. It just kind of slides in like this. And since I know these screws are not magnetic, I got to hold it in place. And and screw it down. And that's how that works. You just put it on there until they make contact, and then tighten on this other one. There, and then I can, not that it matters, I can plug this in over here just to get it out of the way. At least that'll keep this part dry. This is the VP2000 that the donor head came out of. As you can see, this is a old top loader playback only machine. Look at the head drum on this. Oh, it even has a shim on it. I'm sure that probably eccentricity is required on this one. I didn't even notice that. Look at that, it's got a shim. Interesting. I was just going to throw that old dead head just back on this one just to kind of keep this thing from getting dirty. This is belt drive. There's a motor over here that turns that, and these little bars are little, they pass over coils that tells the machine what position they're in. So say I'm in the storage unit right now. I went to my storage locker, which is where I keep all this old crap that I haul out once in a while. So I'm just going to remount the old dead head. Not that it matters. I'm just going to put it on here and just mount it back onto this chassis, just so it's complete. I mean, maybe I'll give this thing away. That's always a possibility, right? Just put it up and say, free Sony VP2000 needs a head. And I'm sure it does probably need other stuff as well, because the last time I tried this thing out was probably 10 years ago, and it did not play very well back then. And it was always one that was like, it looked like bad heads is what it looked like. It looked like the heads were bad. All kinds of streaking in the video is what the symptoms that it exhibited were. Which made me think maybe the head drum was bad, but it works fine in the other machine. So it has to be a circuitry problem. You know, it could be some bad caps. It's got element caps in here. Something in the preamp, I'm sure, but anyway, it is now a machine that I can either scrap or, you know, scrap it or put it up for free and just say, someone take it off my hands, it doesn't work. Look, this is damaged here, I didn't do that. I was like that when I got it. This one here, you hit the eject button, you load a tape, and then you hit one of the other buttons or even stop, and it'll lower it back down. But this is what it has, you see. This is what they use this in the movie theater for programmed operation. So they put it in start and then to 0, and what they do is they play the tape till the end of the content and then 0 the counter. And what it will do is it'll rewind and it'll play it until it gets to 0, and then it rewinds it again. And that's how they used this thing when it was in its life at the Capital 6. So this thing has a gajillion hours. You see, no erase head or anything because it's just a playback machine. But this has got a gajillion hours on it. Other than that, you know, mechanical switches. Look at this, mechanic instead of optical sensors, if the tape is slack, it's got mechanical switches on it. But the VP1000 went to the place that I got the other machine from that was broken. They brought it to me to fix, and we found it had a bad head. So I wasn't going to gut a machine and, you know, I wasn't going to gut this machine to fix a machine for someone else. And I had a VP1000 that was like new, because I've had it since early 90s, and I've only used it a few times. And I got it from the TV station that I had worked at, so I knew the condition of it. And I said, hey, you know what? I got a like new VP1000 that works perfect. Maybe we can make a deal, and we did. And then they said, yeah, keep the old one for parts or scrap. And that's why once it was mine. That's why I figured we'll try an experiment, see if it works. I didn't know if it would or not, but it does, and all is good. Here's some of the other stuff that's in the storage locker here that I've got just waiting to, well, some of this has been fixed. Other stuff is needing to be fixed. Like I got 2 Toshiba DVD recorders over there that are working, and a 5-disc Sony changer, and some cassette decks. That one is my pride and joy. I've talked about it, never shown it until now. That's my Macintosh 1500. That was my dad's. He bought it when it was new, back in the late 60s. He got hoodwinked into buying it from a salesman. I may have told you guys this story before, but basically, he got an Akai 1710W reel-to-reel from the captain of one of the Japanese ships that came to the port that he was a foreman at, and gave it to him as a gift. And the 1710W is in here somewhere. It's in the other corner. Anyway, it had built-in speakers and a built-in amplifier, but he wanted bigger speakers, and he went to this shop to buy some speakers, and the slick salesman convinced him that he needed to buy a stereo to go with the tape recorder, because the tape recorder would not have outputs for speakers, which it did. It had an amplifier. It was a Japanese model, not an American or Canadian model. It had an amplifier built in, but he got talked into buying this little gem. And anyway, as the story goes, my mother had a bird and ordered him to return it back to the store, and the store didn't take it, and it ended up sitting down in the crawl space under the house for years and years and years and years and years. And then one day I was down there lighting the boiler, and I saw this box that it was in, and I opened it up. It was all like rats had gotten into it, chewed through the box, and I found this receiver in there, this Macintosh receiver. And of course I knew what it was. I was working in the business at the time. So I asked my dad, I said, "Hey, I found an old stereo down there." He goes, "Oh." He said, "Do you want it?" He goes, "What the hell do I want it for?" I said, "Can I have it?" He goes, "Yeah, take it." So there it is. And this graced my sound system for years. It's all original. It has all the original Macintosh tubes in it. I did some caps on it once. I had one cap that went bad. It was oscillating. And it sounds nice. Now, why is it in my storage unit, you're wondering? Why am I not using it? 2 reasons. Mainly because I don't want to age any more of the original tubes, because the tubes that are in here are obsolete. You can't get them anymore. You can't get replacements for them. What you have to do is you have to modify it to take EL34s, because this was the pentodes. This is not a pentode. This is a quad type tube. Has 4 elements in it, whereas a pentode, pen meaning 5, has 5 elements. The tubes themselves have been obsolete for 40 years. And the mod, of course, you have to rewire the sockets so that they will take an EL34, which many people have done. The problem with that is, as soon as you modify the unit, it is no longer original, and it does not have the value of one that has the original tubes. That's one reason I'm not running it. The second reason I'm not running it is because it's full of, well, first of all, it's got some old caps in it still, but it's full of carbon resistors. And carbon resistors are notorious for drifting as the temperature changes. So this unit here, you turn it on, and it doesn't sound that good. It sounds kind of harsh for about 40 minutes or so, until everything gets nice and warm. And then it sounds absolutely fantastic once it gets warmed up. So the ritual for using this is you turn it on, and you let it sit with the volume turned to minimum for a minimum of 30 minutes, and then you start to enjoy it. Okay, I have a Yachin Chinese tube amplifier based on EL34s. It's based basically on the Dynaco ST70, the amplifier design. And guess what? You turn that one on, and as soon as it warms up, it sounds great, because they all have thin film resistors, 0.1% tolerance. Nothing drifts on it. You turn it on, as soon as it warms up, it sounds great. And that is why this one is sitting in here instead of in my stereo cabinet. Got a couple of old Betamax machines and a couple of old little TVs sitting over in the corner. Some other things that are stored in here is the Panasonic NV9200. That one, as far as I know, works. I haven't used it in a while, but it's there. I got a VO5850. Got an old HVC 2800 video camera. That still works as far as I know. Nice old Sony Trinitron. This is one of the last of the 20-inch sets that they made. It's a flat tube. Got velocity modulation and everything on it, and this works. Found this at the side of the road a few years ago. Got an old U-matic soldering iron, temperature controlled. I got two of these pieces of junk in here that'll never get fixed. Needs modules with leaking caps, with the ceramic modules. That'll never get fixed. Got a couple laser disc players in here too. EVS 5000 parts machine, a Sanyo Betamax Super Beta, a Sony Beta Hi-Fi, the original Beta Hi-Fi, that's the SL5200, and a 2700 below it. That's another Beta machine that's a collector's item. An old Hitachi multi-system VHS here. I used to use this for conversions years ago with a standalone converter. There's a rare piece, Sony VO5850 projector. I've done a video on this one. This is the one that Linus Tech Talk actually featured. He used some shots from my video to show off one that he had. I have one here. More VCRs. Yes, they all work. Sony's and Panasonic's. These all work. Got a box of 3/4 inch tapes here. Might be something interesting on some of these. I'll have to check them out sometime. Some more components. There's another SLVR5. Got an old Radio Shack shortwave radio. There's my very first computer. Got it in 1982 when I would have been about, I guess, 18. Texas Instrument TI-99-4A with the extended basic cartridge. And there is the expansion module here with disk drives and everything in here somewhere. I just don't know where the power supply is, so I can't power it up. It's in here somewhere, I'm sure, buried. Want a dot matrix printer? I've got one. I probably have two. Commodore analog monitor? I've got one here. A Sony reel-to-reel? Yep. Got a couple of them in here. Got a bunch of stuff. Okay, this is my storage unit, which I very rarely get to unless I really need a part. I'll come here and grab something. It's old NP1 batteries. And also a box of reel-to-reel tapes, brand new. Bunch of brand new tapes never opened. Factory sealed. Several receivers of various brands. Some working, some not. Got a bunch of reel-to-reel tapes. These were my dad's tapes. All mixes that he did. He spent hours making tapes. I haven't transcribed any of these over to digital yet. I really should, but they're all in 3 3/4 IPS. But they're all mixed together. He's got, like I say, he's got about 30 of them here. Anyway, one of these days I'll get around to it. These came from one of these novelty shops. My wife got them for me probably 40 years ago. And they have neon lights in them that blink. Got a blue one in the bottom that blinks with bass and a pink one in the top that blinks with treble. There's a set of them here. As far as I know, they still work fine. I haven't listened to them for a while, but they didn't have bad sound considering they're just sealed up in acrylic boxes. But I figure these are a collector's item. I'm going to hang on to those. Okay, I played this tape all the way through beginning to end and just rewinding it now. But I'll say this machine is completely done now. I hope you guys enjoyed the look around of the storage unit, what I could show you in there, which was stacks of equipment, either stuff that I've repaired or stuff that is being gutted for parts, like the machine that this came out of, which I showed putting the old head back in it. I'm going to try to get rid of that. I've got it up, put it up on Facebook Marketplace to give it away, see if somebody wants it as a project. But I put in there that the upper drum was shot. Anyway, this one's all done. Just waiting for the tape to rewind back to the beginning. And I've got another tape I'm going to run through. I want to see how it sounds. It was probably the last thing I ever did on 3/4 inch. It was my second reno that I did. So this was probably edited in 2009. It was probably edited on my non-linear equipment and just transferred over to 3/4 just for something to do. Probably for testing out the NB9200, because that would have been the machine that recorded it. And you see, it just rewound properly. Jack. Yes, that's working properly. There's what my house looked like before I did my first reno. That's what the back of my place looks like. This is what it looked like after I built it in 2003. And what I was doing is I'm putting another room on the back. So this whole back where that barbecue is sitting, it's going to have a room that's going to go out about 15 feet. Yeah, watch this tape. I haven't seen this in a while. This is up on my YouTube channel, by the way. I think this one's up on YouTube. Pretty sure it's up on YouTube. Yeah, the original one's up on YouTube too. Yeah, this guy had fun getting down here. Just enough room to get through. Like he had like an inch, maybe 4 inches on each side. It was tight, as you can see. He's just making it through. Let's see what happens if I try to start it up. There. Haha. I can't turn the drum. The drum is completely stuck to the tape. You can see it. That tape is tight. The only thing I can do is power it off and power it back on. If I try to play it, and this is 100% the tape that's causing this. See? I'll take that tape out. I'll throw another tape in that does not have sticky shed syndrome, and it will be fine. Ampex. This Ampex tape was just absolute crap. This one is a, what is this one? I think this is a Sony tape, this one. And this is my and of course it's fine. But yeah, this sticky shed tape on 3/4 inch will actually bind to the head drum and stop it from turning. I wonder if that's how the head was damaged before. But yeah, bad tape. It's too bad because this was a neat recording that I had at Whistler. But anyway, this one's garbage. It's not important content that's on here because I've got the original on a computer. It's a recording that I made off the computer just for playing around with 3/4 inch a number of years ago. But since it was recorded, this tape has now gone to sticky shed. It's only a 10-minute tape anyway, so no loss. Just want you guys to see what happens with these tapes. Wonder if it'll play now or whether it'll still do the same thing. No, now it's going to play for a minute. Only because I put a clean tape in it and all the crap came off of this onto the other tape, I'm sure. Anyway, if I let it play for a few minutes, it'll start to act up, and then it will jam up. Because what's happening is the binder is leaching through and it's getting onto everything on the machine. There we go. You see? And now it's locked up again. The tape is that bad that the binder is actually leaching through the tape right now. So here's the tape itself. I don't know if you can see anything visual on here, but what's happening is the binder that holds the oxide on is damaged. It's leaking through the tape, and it's getting deposited on anything that's metal, the heads, the drum, and because it's such a wide tape, it actually will cause the drum to stick. Anyway, these were really bad tapes. These 197 series, Ampex 197. Anytime you see this Ampex 197 tape, you know that you're going to have to bake it. So this one here, if I want to play this tape, which again, it's not important, I would throw this in an oven for about 10 hours at 130 degrees and just drive out the moisture, because that's basically what's happened, is moisture has gotten into it over the years and it's causing the binder to leach and get onto everything. Let's just see how much crap came off that tape. That's a 10-minute tape. I didn't even get the whole entire tape played through. It only played through for a few minutes, and then it started to servo started to go out of lock and just started to play bad as the tape was sticking. So let's just, for the hell of it, let's just see what's on the head drum here now. Now remember, I just cleaned this machine earlier today, so this will be fresh dirt that's just come off this one tape. That came off that tape. 10 minutes of running time. That's what's come off that tape. Incredible, because this was clean earlier. We'll see what else I can get off here. More. Holy crap. Yeah. That's pretty bad. So this tape, garbage. One thing I often wondered, what happens if I put a tape, an SP tape, which is a high band recording, into a regular machine? What's going to happen? I guess we'll find out. I don't know whether this machine will play it or not, but we're going to try. This is that Sony demo of the 3/4 inch machines. So it'll be interesting to see whether this machine can play it. Let's check it out. Well, other than some color syncing errors, which I see, it seems to be playing that part. It's maybe some tracking error. Maximize the signal. There we go. That should be maximized. Got a lot of black at the beginning. I'm going to kill the sound on this just because I know that the sound did pull a copyright. Skewing. Where's my skewing? It actually looks a little overmodulated. You know, the whites look like it looks overmodulated. I see a bit of timing errors at the top here, but the skewing control doesn't seem to be affecting. But it seems to be playing it kind of okay. But it does look to be overmodulated, kind of like if you put a super beta tape on a regular beta machine. It just, the whites look to be a little bit on the hot. I don't know how it shows up on camera. There's the that's the micrometer that you're supposed to use for setting up the eccentricity, which I don't have. Used to have one. That's like what the head came out of, is one of those, but it was a playback only machine, but it looked just like that. Anyway, it plays SP tapes. Cool. Hey, that's the machine there. No, actually, this is the one. This is the machine that I'm playing it on, right there. That's what this machine is. All right. Cool. It does play an SP tape, although maybe not at 100%, because the SP tape is higher bandwidth than the low band. So there is some sync errors and so forth. You can see it here. Again, that's to be expected. It's probably not good on the heads either, because the SP tape was a chromium dioxide tape that they use, so I don't know if that's going to have a negative impact on these heads, but I just figured I would throw that out there and see whether it does play, and it does. So it plays, not 100%, but it plays. I got this promo tape from season 2 of 21 Jump Street. Of course, it's it's on the bad crap tape. So if I want to try to play this tape for more than a few minutes, this tape would have to be baked. I've got it playing, but it's not really playing that well. I like to show this, but I don't know. It's just promo clips, but it might still pull a copyright match. So I don't know if I should play this tape or not.
You're ready, guys.
But one thing for sure, if I can get a transfer of this, it would be a one-time thing, because this tape is already, well, you'll see what it's doing. It's what we call, oh, see what I mean? It sticks. It sticks. That buzzing you hear is time code on one of the audio channels. If I turn up the sound, you'll hear it. So you got audio on one channel and time code on the other, but that screeching you see and that screeching you hear and that you see on the TV, on the screen, that's the tape itself sticking. A real problem with this Ampex tape. It will probably eventually stop. These are some of the headaches that we have to go through trying to archive old tapes. And this is the prime reason why you want to get anything you've got on videotape, you want to get it off of tape and transfer to digital and stop using tape. I've said it many times. Some people like to give me a bad time about that, but this is why tape needs to go. It's all breaking down. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.